Hi, it's Jay from Iridescent Tarot back with some more sparkle for you. So today I wanted to chat about my July wrap-up. In typical roller coaster fashion, so we had a few months ago where I was just like, on the low point of tarot, and then I was back up and then, sustained that for a bit. I feel like July was like, not a low, but like back down on the downward trajectory. Just had like an exceptionally busy month. And also my year ahead reading, I did get some cards that I feel like had a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I received divination, pause, and change for my cards. And for the month of July, I will say that pulling those did affect like the way that I engaged in my practice. And I'm not thrilled about that. I'm not a huge fan of predictive readings, and this is one of the reasons why. Because I feel like we can kind of like pull cards and then adjust our reality to like meet those expectations. So even though I had had a couple of months of like being super full on with all my different practices and really being into all my tarot stuff, when I saw that those 3 cards were my July cards, I almost took it as like permission to be like, okay, like I don't need to work that hard. And it's not to say that there's not like ever a time and a place for like slowing down our practice and not being full on with all of the different things that we do. So I'm just not really sure that that reading for me was like effective in the most positive way. I don't know, maybe I really did need to take a step back and pause from all of those things while I was in the busyness of life in July. I think that I just have kind of mixed feelings about it. Anyways, some of the decks that I got into this month, because I did still do like a decent amount. The one that's sitting here in front of me is the Earthchild Tarot by Allison Davies. It has gorgeous backs and holographic gilding. I had seen this deck last year when I was big into my Allison Davies phase. So I had gone all in on the Blue Earth Tarot and really, really spent a lot of time with that deck towards the end of last year. And you know what, I'm not going to flip through so much because there's, whatever. And I knew that she had created this deck as well, but I historically have not done super well with colored pencil decks. Like for some reason, just me and colored pencil decks don't really seem to get along. And so I had been happy just using my Blue Earth Tarot, but at some point, it felt like it was just a little bit too blue and heavy, and it's very emotional. And unless you're really in that heavy, deep emotional space, it's like a little bit too rich and a little bit too much for me. And so I found myself wanting to connect with like the visual language that Allison Davies had created, but not specifically with the Blue Earth Tarot. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to like give colored pencil another shot. I just figured I'd give it a chance. And it's definitely what I wanted in regards to that visual language. And I love her art style, but there are certainly cards in here that do not match up with like the traditional RWS understandings. I don't think this claims to be an RWS based deck anywhere, but I also have tried to like match up some of those confusing cards with, my Marseille knowledge or my Thoth knowledge. And I don't know, like, I think that she really takes her own, goes her own way and takes her own direction with some of these cards. And I don't have an issue with that. I don't. I think I would have liked to really know that going into the deck. But now that I have it, I am very happy to work with it to try to understand some of those, like atypical card depictions. I do feel like that this scratches the itch of wanting this artwork in a lighter format. So it's almost like this is like my spring, summer Allison Davies. And then Blue Earth might be like my fall, winter Allison Davies. I don't know. That's just the way that I'm feeling right now. This also feels like it could be pretty like, seasonless. Like this image, what do you see here? Tell me what you see in the comments. Regardless of what sounds from above, it is up to you to choose to listen. That being said, pink skies are usually a warning. And I'll show you another one that kind of beguiled me. Hierophant, tradition, conformity, morality, ethics. Feminine energies lead to blooming, regarding of whether they come from the inside or outside of yourself. Embrace the warm hand that tends to your wounds. So is this about like healers, and is this some kind of plant medicine thing? I don't know what the plant is, so I can't say, but there's a few cards that are kind of like this that are just a little bit like a question mark to me. But then there's ones that are like strength, where I think this is a beautiful depiction of strength. And the devil, like, I just love that guy. So anyways, I'm really enjoying getting to know this deck. My Folkloric Waters deck came in. Has some gorgeous blue edging. I love the tone that she picked. And then the backs are beautiful. You know, I love that gold border. 10 out of 10 production quality per usual. This is like the cardstock and the level of professionalism that I aspire to and look up to Lennox for. This deck is very, very intense in its watery depictions. Like, this isn't like a lighthearted wateriness. This is like an intense, get tossed around by the sea wateriness. I haven't had the most time to spend with it yet. And I do feel like summer is this deck's season. So I'm nervous to like miss the tide. I'm like, I want to ride the wave and use this deck now, but I just feel like there's this tiny bit of resistance and I'm not quite sure why. Maybe it's because it feels so heavy that it's like not what I need like internally right now. But man, there are some of the cards in this deck are just absolutely breathtaking. Congratulations to Lennox for a seamless, truly seamless Kickstarter campaign and a beautiful addition to her folkloric collection. Color me impressed. The Visionary I Ching cards. Do I know how to read I Ching? No. Did I want to learn how to read I Ching? Not necessarily. But did I see this deck on Kim, the Somatic Sorceress's channel, and was like, I need that? Yes. Some of the things that Kim was saying about this deck and the power of these cards, I was just very taken by. And I do like to have the ability to dabble in other systems. Like I have one Lenormand deck, and I thought it would be appropriate to have one, you know, way to read I Ching, should I so choose. And so I did end up chopping the borders off of these cards because they had like these giant black borders. And like, I feel like many of the cards have this like art border on them already. So it didn't need like the double border, but I did in the process cut off the number, the I Ching symbols, the phrasing, like a lot of information off of the cards. And there's no way I would be able to tell these cards apart. So I ended up writing in blue the card number on the back in that little, like, you know, the little divot. And so that way I can still look up the cards in the book and read their entries this way. So yeah, I'm really happy with how the mod came out. Edged it in sparkly blue as well, and I think that it came out really nice. So this is just like a really cool deck to have in my collection, but is something that I don't plan on learning like immediately anytime soon. But you know me, I like having like a few things on the docket that I can dip into when the urge to learn something new strikes. I've still been going strong with my Mellow Schema practice, so nightly or semi-nightly, I will pull from my stack here and I will do my pocket reading and then pull a tarot card from Mellow Schema and pull an oracle card from the Dimensions of Light. And this continues to be like a, not every single night, but you know, pretty nightly practice that I do in addition to working through the Animals and Arcana deck companion for Mellow Schema. So it's a month-long practice, and I've finished weeks 1, 2, and 3. It's taken me 2 months to do 3 weeks worth of work. But I didn't want to rush through it. I wanted to really sink into every single activity that's in there. And there's plenty, there's tons. So I still have 1 week left, and I will plan to complete that week through August. Like I'm not imposing any kind of timeline on it for myself, but really enjoying deeply getting to know Mellow Schema through this practice. Nancy from Hidden Magic Tarot has this daily practice where she asks her inner artist, what do you need today? And I have watched her post videos about that and loved the idea of it, but never actually tried it myself until I saw Coffee and Tarot with Mama T show this listening oracle deck, which is created by an artist with the intention to help you open up to your creative process. These cards represent milestones in making art or living an examined life. Each card describes one phase of the creative process and offers a few potential solutions to help you through. So I thought this would be perfect for an inner artist reading. And so once I got this and I was like, dang, I love the art on this. Like I love this. I realized that the creator Letty had also made a tarot deck like many, many years ago. And this is the Many Queens Tarot, which is now mass market, but I found a like used copy on eBay for a really reasonable price. I've been pairing the two of these up and asking my inner artist, what do I need? You know, like, what do I need to know today or do today? And then answering that question with the tarot and seeing what kind of, messages come through. And I love it. Such a fun, specialized practice. I've pulled this card twice in a row and I posted about it on my Instagram. It's very apt for like the point of where I am with Tarot, Monet, and me. Look at the guidebook. This card speaks to a project's completion, the end of a journey. This is about the period after everything is finished, when you might want to work on publicity or promotion. You might need to write an artist statement or pick a book jacket. This might be the period when you send out advance copies or create a flyer for the event. This is the time period when your art is about to be out in the world. It can feel terrifying to let this work out of your home, or it can feel exhilarating to share it with the world. Congratulate yourself on your effort and do not be afraid to share with the world what you are doing. People can choose whether they want to engage with your work. Those who do want to hear about what you are doing will listen. So I thought that was great. Letty's a very inspiring artist working full time. And it's just very creative, and I'm happy to have her work here inspiring me. For books, I am currently reading Mindful Tarot. I'm about halfway through. I really liked the beginning section. Now we started reading like the actual card meanings, which I don't really love when books go through card by card anymore. Like that's not the stuff that I'm interested in. The meaty content that's up front is what I really want. So I did like all of this right here, and I'm going to read this, but it's not giving me as much juicy, detail as what I wanted and got from up here. I'll just flip through Tarot, Monet, and Me while I'm chatting about my other books. I am also listening to Tarot and Psychology of the Soul by Mariana Lewis, another creator here on YouTube, and I love that book. More of a Jungian approach to tarot than what kind of we're working with in Mindful Tarot. This is more of like a mindfulness meditative approach. The Tarot and Psychology of the Soul definitely leans more into like a psychological lens than a kind of like mystical spiritual lens. I'm also reading No Nonsense Spirituality by Brittany Hartley, and I feel like if you take these 3 books that I'm reading this month as like all together, it's like the exact representation of the way that I kind of think about psychology, spirituality, tarot, kind of all wrapped up into one. And so I feel like I'm really in my reading element right now, where everything's kind of just playing into one another and building on one another. And I'm just definitely in my element reading wise. Like this is the stuff that I love to be reading about. I think that's all I have for this video. So if you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, all of those things, and I will talk to you later. Signing out.